Hello everyone, it's Mainland Stews here, and today I thought I'd bring back Blender help, because a lot of people have been requesting it for quite a while now, because I haven't actually done one since, what was it, like 2017 I think? And and I thought today that I'd just show you how to rig just a set of wheels, and there'd be 3 separate tutorials. There'd be how to do a standard set like Thomas's, like we've got here, a little bit more complicated like Percy's, and then big engine valve gear like Gordon's. But yeah, so we're just gonna learn how to rig Thomas's bogie. I do want to point out that this isn't a modeling tutorial, so this isn't to show you how to make wheels or the inside motion. This is just to show you how to rig it. So what we can do is we can just hide the track because we don't need that. So what you need to do is you need to press T to bring up your tabs along the side, and then head to the Create tab. And then you want to spawn something called a lattice. Now this is used heavily when making bogies, because this is kind of the thing that tells Trainz, oh, this needs to be moving. So we just want to click on the cube over here, and then just call it b.r.main, and that's kind of like the center point of the bogie. So the game knows that that's the spawn point of it. That's where the whole thing comes together. And then for the wheels, you should have it, the origin point of the wheel should be in the middle. So it should be between the first wheel and the second wheel. If you don't know how to do that, you just select both wheels, do Shift S, cursor to selected, and then the little reticule icon goes to where the dot is between the 2 wheels. Just do Object, Transform, an Origin to 3D cursor, and then that will make the origin of the wheel the center of that, so it spins nice and smoothly. So now that we've got the 3D cursor set up to the origin point of the wheels, just want to spawn another lattice, scale it up so it's kind of like the same size as the wheel, and then what we want to do is we want to right click the wheel and just do Shift right click, and it selects the cube, and do Control P and do Object, keep transformation. So now this wheel is attached to this little lattice here. And then what you just want to do is you want to get the flange, Shift right click on the wheel, and do the same thing. So now the flange follows the wheel, and the wheel follows the lattice. Now along the bottom here, you can see we've kind of got this, like, I don't know, kind of like this line of grids or whatever. This is our timeline. So this is what is used a lot from Blender animation. So along the bottom, we can kind of see that over here is frame 1, and this little thing here goes up, and that's every individual frame. What we want to do is we want to start at number 1, and then where it says start, we want to make that 1. Where it says end, we want to make it 30. So within 30 frames, the wheel will do a full loop. So what we want to do is we want to press N, scroll to the top of this tab. Where it says rotation, you just want to hover over it with your mouse and just press I. And now that's made a keyframe. So that's the starting point of our wheel animation. And then you just want to click on end frame and go to frame 30. And in the X tab, you just type in 360 and hit enter. Press I again. Now, as we can see, the wheel is now moving. But if we play the animation, we can see that it starts off slowly, picks up speed, and then slowly comes to a stop. So wheels don't do that. They kind of continually go. So we just want to stop the animation. We want to go to the little icon down here and change it from 3D view to graph editor. And as you can see, we've got this kind of a squiggly line that, as you can see, smoothly goes up to the top. So what we want to do is we just want to press T, and then we want to change it from Bezier to linear. And as you can see, it's now a straight line. So now, whenever it hits the red line, it'll be a smooth animation. So now we can see that's just continually going. It's not stopping, it's not starting, it just keeps on spinning. And what we can do is we can just do what we did before, so get the 3D cursor to the origin point, and if we do Shift D and then right click to reset it, and then Shift S, selection to cursor, we can just move that lattice to where this wheel is, and parent that wheel to that lattice, and then parent the flange to the wheel. So now both wheels are moving. And then we just want to do the same to the very end one. Well, that's one of the big steps out of the way. All the wheels are moving now. That's great. And what we need to do is we need to label each lattice so then Trainz knows what that does. So we want to click on the first one. And we want to change that to b.r.wheel1. Then for the second one is b.r.wheel2. And same for the last one, b.r.wheel3. And you basically just have to call it b.r. and whatever you want, because Trainz just needs to know that it's got the BR in it, and then the animation will do its course while it's in game. And then what we want to do is we want to select all three, and then lastly select b.r.main and just parent it. So now whenever we move this bit, the wheels will follow. So that's the wheels out the way. If it didn't have side rods, like if it was just diesel wheels, you can just leave it at that and export it. Bish bash bosh, you're done. But obviously it's got side rods and it's got these inside bits. So what we can do is we can just select the back wheels and press H to hide them, because we're done with those wheels. They don't really do much. It's the middle wheel, side rods, and the inside motion that we need to worry about. So now what we want to do is we want to spawn another lattice. We want to make sure it's centered. Go to front and side view, and then just kind of line it up with this bit here, and then just kind of make it centered on. I usually use the connecting rod that the side rods are connected to, and I usually use that kind of like as a point where it needs to go. So we're going to select the side rod, shift right click the lattice, Control P, parent. So now this bit follows the side rod, and we want to select that, select the middle wheel, Control P, and now if we play the animation, it's joined, but it's not doing that. Side rods don't do that. So now we want to go to the little chain link icon, add object constraint, and click on limit rotation. And if we press limit X, the X axis, we can now see that it won't spin in that direction, so it will constantly stay level. So now we got side rods, and then you just want to select that lattice and call it b.r.siderod, and there we go. And since we've mirrored it on the other side, it will do the exact same thing. So if we bring it all back, we can now see the wheels and the rods are now moving in sync. So that's that fun part over. So just like last time, we can hide the rods and we can hide the wheel, but make sure oh wait, we do need to bring these back so we can animate the inside parts. So these parts, if you modeled them correctly, it's kind of like, I don't really know how to explain it. It's just kind of like, imagine it like a guitar pick. It's kind of like that. There's two facing up and two facing down. So when you spin it, it should kind of do that, I assume. And then what you can do is you can just select these and parent it to the lattice as well, because they're kind of like in the same direction as the wheel. So whenever you do that, they follow as well. So now we got these bits. They're good. They're done. And what we need to do now is apply the same knowledge we know on side rods. So we can just kind of clone this one, go into wireframe and kind of line it up with the circle piece here. Yep, I'd say that's good enough. Select this piece. These are all individual pieces, by the way, because they have to move separately. Select that one and that one. Parent it to that. And then parent it to that wheel. And as you can see, it's now following it. So we've got this bit moving. And you just got to repeat the same to literally all the other ones. It's time consuming, but you know, it gets the job done, really. And there we go, that one's done. So we've got the top one's done. And then we can literally just move that down there. Move it to the side. Parent that one. Parent that one. Then we've got those front two spinning. And then we just gotta clone it to that one, do it to that one, and do it to that one. So now we've rigged the wheels and we've rigged the inside motion, so that's working splendidly. But now we've got to do these parts, and these parts you need to use something called bones. Now, not human bones, children. It's called an armature, but it still works like as bones, because that's what people use for like blender rigging. But more importantly, we need to make sure that everything's labeled. So that's side rod. I'm just gonna call this B.R. in. You can call it interior rod 1, and then this one B.R. interior rod 2. B.R. interior rod 3. B.R. interior rod 4. And there we go. So now, just then it's easier to work with, you can just hide these back ones, because you don't really need these. You just need to focus on this bit here. Now what we want to do is, we want to make sure the cursor is at... Oh, no, my mistake. What we need to do is, we need to make... need to get another lattice. Scale it down. And then kind of put it where this rod is, or this kind of little circular bit here. So we can kind of see that that floats around there. And we need to clone it to this joint here, or just actually move them to the side so it's easier to see. And then this one again, just Shift D, and then just scale it down so it's a little bit smaller. So we should have 1, 2, 3. Now what we need to do is we need to spawn armature. Kind of looks like a needle or an arrow. And these ones are a little bit complicated, so if you don't know how to work them properly, I'd recommend looking at an actual professional's tutorial on how to do it. But so if we press tab to go into edit mode, we can see that we can move this up and down. And what we need to do is we need to press E, and we need to do right click, and we need to drag it out this way. So then it kind of makes like a little point here. So there's a very specific way that you need to line it up, and I usually find that the circle that gets bigger needs to be the one that goes on the smaller cube there. So if I move this back and forth, it doesn't get bigger, only the arm does. But then if I move this one, we see that that one gets bigger. So what we need to do is we need to right click this one, Shift S, cursor to selected, back to edit mode, right click on the sphere over here, selection to cursor, and as we can see it's moved it there. And then since these use the same origin point, we just have to select one, go into edit mode, cursor to selected, and then for the bottom one, move it to the same place, but just drag it down a bit, not too much, just so we can still work with it. Now we want to right click on the armature, go to pose mode, and right click on this bit. Now this bit is going to act as the piston. This is going to be the bit that keeps it straight when it, you know, moves up and down and all around. And then as we can see, we've got some extra tabs over here, so we want to click on the bone next to the little chain link, and it will take us to bone constraints. And we want to click on add bone constraint, and then we want to do inverse schematics. And what this basically does is it copies like whatever you target it to. So if we target it to this lattice and we right click on this one, we can see that this bit moves up and down, but then it doesn't move this bit. So it kind of stays around that point, but then this bit works here, and as you can see, this is what we need to achieve. And it is really straightforward. So now that that's been it's now following this cube. What we need to do is we need to parent the cube to the lattice, and then we need to give it limit rotation again, so now it won't turn. And then for these two, the big one, you just do copy location, and the target is armature, and you want to make sure you click bone 1, and that will move it there. For this one, you want to do copy location and copy rotation. Do the same thing, so armature bone 1, armature bone 1, and as you can see, that's now following this bone. So when this moves up and down, that lattice will follow the bone. And it's real straightforward. This piece, you need to parent it to the tilted cube. And this piece, you just need to parent to that cube. And since that one's parented to that one, when you play the animation, it now follows it. And it's acting like a piston. But as we can see, it's a little bit wobbly. It's not staying straight. Easy fix is that you just go into edit mode. And this bit, you just drag it all the way down as far as you can, as far as you want. It doesn't really matter because the bones won't show up in game. It will look weird, but you can simply just hide it. And now it won't show up. And there we go. We can see that the piston is now moving. So for this piece, you just want to... I'm not sure the real technical terms for it, but when I learnt it, it was just B.R.con rod, which I assume is for connecting rod. For this piece, you just want to call it B.R.piston underscore L and B.R.piston 2 underscore L. We should probably call this one underscore L as well, because as we can see, they're not in the same position. And now the easy part, we can just unhide that bone, and then we can copy the lattices and bone from this side, Shift D to clone, and just move it to that side. And then we can hide that bone because we don't need it. So now that we've cloned it over, we just need to simply move it down to this piece here. And then as you can see, it will still follow it in the exact same way. So then this piece, clone to that one. That piece, clone to that one. And now that piston is following the same thing. So now we just need to make sure that that is underscore R underscore R underscore R. And then if we move it around, we can see everything follows it. So there, that's literally it, folks. That's literally how you rig Thomas's wheels with inside motion. And if you have everything set up correctly, you just have to do File, Export, Trainz Mesh and Animation, find wherever your file is, and just make sure that you tick Export Animation Data. And when you do that, it will set up everything for you. It will give you the mesh, it will give you the animation file, and that's all you need to know, folks. That's how it's done. So thank you for watching this tutorial. I'm not sure when the other parts will come out, but I will get to them as soon as I can. So thanks for watching and have fun modeling.